Hello and welcome again to Stone Soup.
The World According to Sci-Fi Geeks. And we recently watched all of Buffy. It wasn't the first time we watched Buffy when she was on the air, right from the
Yes.
start, because we were fans of the movie.
And-
we really liked the movie.
Well, it wasn't the best movie ever, but it was fun. And granted, when we first heard there was going to be a TV series, our general reaction was, the movie was cute, but how are you going to make that into a TV series?
Well, we hadn't reckoned with Josh Whedon. We didn't know the story yet. And of course, the story is he wasn't happy with that movie. That wasn't what he wrote. That wasn't what he meant for them to do.
I've heard tell, according to what says in the comics, that he was so upset with all the changes they were making in his script that he stormed off the set. So when he got the go-ahead to do the TV series, he was going to do it his way.
Well, obviously.
Duh.
Yeah. So, it held up very, very well.
Yes.
Sure, there were a couple things like no cell phones.
Well, there were a few cell phones, but
Not until the end.
Yeah.
The first time we saw cell phones was with in the 7th season when Buffy made sure that Dawn had a cell phone.
Yeah.
Because Dawn's going to high school now, and Buffy knows because they built that high school right where her high school was before she blew it up, and it's sitting on a Hellmouth. And
technology is just a little behind the times. Okay, school computers always look old and clunky because they are generally.
But they're usually donated. People don't donate the top of the line; they donate the ones that aren't using anymore. But
other than that tiny detail,
it really, really holds up.
it's absolutely brilliant.
It's utterly brilliant. The 6th season gets a lot of flack for being so dark.
And it is.
And it is dark, but of necessity, because Buffy just came back from the dead. The really, truly moldering, rotting in her grave, dead. And she has to deal with that.
Yes.
And it's not easy, because she wasn't where they thought she was when they pulled her out.
Basically,
And
one of the things that was done so well with Buffy was that they grew up.
yeah,
And that's part of where some of the darkness came from, was having to deal with more and more adult situations and problems and difficulties.
this, of course, helped them in doing Angel, because Angel was grown-ups. But the original concept of Buffy was high school is hell for everybody,
Yep.
even the popular kids. Sometimes it's even more hell if you're sitting on a Hellmouth and there are vampires and you're the chosen one and Elvis talks to you. But but the cast is fabulous. The writing is fabulous. Buffy is wonderful.
Yes.
And fortunately gave Josh Whedon the clout he needed to do Angel and Firefly and Dollhouse. You'll notice there's a lot of reference in my voice when I say Firefly. I think it's his masterpiece. I think it's the best thing he's ever done.
And Fox killed it, those freaking bastards.
Idiots. Watch your language, young lady. Yeah. Anyway, if you have not seen Buffy,
Go around.
where the hell have you been? But go get it. It's all available. You can probably order it from Amazon.com cheap and get the whole 7 seasons.
And it's, well, I suppose the phrase would be dramedy, because it is equal parts deeply dramatic and hysterically funny.
Well, the thing is, it is a drama. But even at the darkest of times, people will crack jokes.
Because, it's how you stay sane.
Yeah, it's how you keep going.
That's why, Law and Order, the cops make jokes over the dead bodies, because otherwise, eventually,
And
you
as
crack.
I think real cops and real MEs do.
Yes.
Because you can't work with that stuff and not make cracks. The other thing about Buffy is the cast was so very, very good. Every single one of them.
Yes.
And the way he developed all of the characters, not just Buffy, everybody rose to the occasion.
Yes.
Xander especially, since he has no special powers, as it were, being Buffy
Yep.
is she has magical gifts from birth. Willow develops them,
Yep. She was a very powerful witch.
becomes a very, very powerful witch.
They have an ex-demon, the occasional vampire on their side. Yes, that's a bit of a
Oz is a
misnomer.
werewolf, so he's a little stronger. Even when he's a human being, he's a little stronger, and he can smell things that the rest of us can't smell.
Giles is pretty much a normal man, but he's the Watcher,
But he's
so
a
he has all
Watcher.
the information.
Yeah.
Xander is the most normal one in the cast.
And Xander is magnificent.
From the very start, you can see he's one of the bravest people you will ever meet.
Yeah.
He has to be, or he wouldn't be there.
Yeah. And the more you watch, the more you realize, especially when you watch them all scrunched up like we just
Yes.
did. Because in the 5th season, they are fighting something so powerful that she can knock Buffy around like she was a rag doll.
Mm-hmm.
And he still doesn't back down.
Yep. And yes, you may have heard the musical episode. It's loads of fun.
Oh,
Basically,
yeah, it's wonderful. Just and the interesting thing about that one is that it was part of the storyline. It wasn't just something that
popped up randomly.
And, oh, look, we're going to dance and sing. Oh, no. No, it had important things to say about the continued story, the arc.
Yep.
And they all sang their own parts because they just did.
And,
And because the nature of it was that, no, of course you can't all sing well. That's beside the point.
The Magic's forcing you to sing whether you actually can or not. So the fact they all did their own voices, and some of them were not that good, actually made it more realistic.
Yeah, if that can be called realistic. I mean, if magic was making me sing, why, I could destroy entire nations. you should hear my singing voice. No, you really shouldn't. But, so, yeah, find Buffy.
Silly
Watch
title,
Buffy.
magnificent series.
Yeah, but you know what? What else could you call it?
So,
This is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She even says that at one point, I think in the beginning of the 2nd season or 3rd season. She says, somebody asks her who you are, and she says, I'm Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and you are?
Yes.
She is the coolest.
Yes.
Go find Buffy. You won't be sorry. Thank you.
Bye-bye.